Hey, good morning, everybody. Man, it is cruising through this year fast. We are now in September. It's September 6th, after Labor Day. Summer is officially over here out on the tundra as we went from wearing shorts and t shirts to wearing sweats. Hey, look, we're going to talk today about public education. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. There's two systems in America that some people are required to attend. One is the federal prison system for criminals receiving at least 1 day more than 1 year of a sentence. The other is the public education system where children are sentenced to terms of at least 12 years. Both are designed to shape the mind for society. Keep that in mind. And both of them cost money from us taxpayers. Yes, we pay the bill on that. So before we do anything else, let's get the house cleaning taken care of. All this goes on a playlist called God's Grunts / Brother Mark. You can find it at Yahoo. Just go to playlist and type in God's Grunts and it'll take you there. Okay, if you like what I'm doing, I really do need you to hit that like button. And if you like it a lot, man, share it with your friends. Do a Bible study with it. Now you can start doing some politics with this stuff. Feel free to share, subscribe if you like. And remember, hey, look, we got people out there that are really hurting, especially after what happened in Minnesota where that deranged tranny shot up that uh, school while they were having mass, shot up at children. Only by the grace of God that the damage was minimal because that could have been disastrous. If you need to leave a comment with me, just go to direct message me, whatever platform you're catching this on. And you can do it at Getter, Gab, True Social, MeWe, Facebook, X, and now even Parler. I haven't found any more yet to spread the news on, but those three will work really well. If you got a question, topic you want to cover, got a complaint, feel free to send me something. I do answer everything. Let's get started with some Bible verses. We're going to go old school and Old Testament here. So if you're keeping score on your pad, Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 19. Teach them to your children, speaking of them when you are at home, when you are away, and when you lie down, and when you get up. And the other one is from Proverbs 22, verse 6. Train the young in the way that they should go. Even when old, they will not swerve from it. All right. Here's where we're at. Public education is absolutely saturated with propaganda. Man, there's no softening that anywhere. The system isn't just teaching math and history. It's aggressively molding a worldview that serves progressive politics and corporate interests over truth and family sovereignty. However, many parents are at odds with public school systems. These parents worry that the government run public schools are a stronghold for political correctness, secular humanism, so called wokeism, and radical leftist indoctrination that will undermine the Judeo Christian values they wish to pass on to their children. It would be foolish to assert that all public schools are clandestine Marxist training camps. In fact, more than a third of the nation's public school teachers identify themselves as evangelical Christians. I'm going to make a statement here. If you call yourself an evangelical Christian or any other type of a Christian, and you're teaching this crap to kids, you need to get out of the profession or go get saved. Be one or the other. All right, back at it. Women and men of faith do not expect their children's public school teachers to provide religious instruction. That's the church's job. Teachers are to focus on academics, the arts, and physical education. Public schools are to serve children of all faith or no faith, and classrooms are to remain free of bias concerning matters of religion. But a growing number of Christian moms and dads believe public schools are becoming openly hostile to the values, beliefs, and doctrines expressed in Scripture. I'm going to tell you something. That view is not for Christians only. Many Muslim parents feel the same way. They don't want some of the nonsense taught to their kids. These parents are seeing public schools as encroaching on their parental authority. Are public schools undermining Christian ethics and biblical morality? Well, I'll tell you what, here's some areas of concern. The presence of LBGTQ, MSLSD, whatever, and other sexually explicit literature in some public schools' libraries. The National School Boards Association's labeling of parents expressing their dissent at school board meetings as domestic terrorists. That's right, if you're a concerning parent, you're now a terrorist. Public education's overwhelmingly unwillingness to give creation science equal time to evolutionary theory. That's right, they want to tell you came from a monkey. Let them prove it. The influence of Planned Parenthood, the nation's leading abortion provider, in public schools. According to their own website, Planned Parenthood is also the nation's leading sex education provider and pushing hard for gender ideology crap. We also have the dumbing down of curricula on the assumption that some subjects, such as advanced mathematics, are steeped in racism. I guess 1 and 1 equals 2 is racist. I don't know. I was never taught any of that. A child's inability to refute or resist teachings that are contrary to the Christian faith. In other words, if your child is resistant to this, then that must mean that they are eligible to take psychotropic drugs because obviously they're not thinking the orthodoxy that's being presented. Let's break this down. Straight and unvarnished, here's what we got here. Number 1, curriculum is indoctrination. Critical race theory, you've heard it, and DEI are baked into the K through 12 materials. Students aren't taught how to think, but what to think. That whiteness is original sin and traditional Western civilization is villainous. Sex ed programs, get this, Planned Parenthood usually authors these, push puberty blockers, gender ideology, and informed consent for minors without parental notification. Man, this violates both Christian morality and basic biology, and in some cases, law. Historical revisionism. American history is framed in an endless chronicle of oppression. The 1619 Project, widely adopted in textbooks, falsely claims the American Revolution was fought to preserve slavery, a narrative debunked by actual historians, yet still taught as gospel. This all started with a textbook on American history by some clown named Howard Zinn. They got these textbooks into the public education system decades ago. And Howard Zinn was a proponent of America as a lousy place, stole from the Indians, and just promoted all sorts of nonsense. Anything any good came from America. That was the Howard Zinn version of American history. And believe me, those books are still in service today. Christianity's foundational role in Western civilization is downplayed or erased, replaced by a vague values relativism. The Pilgrims, well, they were the colonizers. The Founding Fathers, nothing more than slaveholders. Never mind the context, the goal is cultural demolition. Number 3, testing and data harvesting. This is what they're doing to your kids. Standardized assessments like the SBAC and PARCC don't just measure reading skills. They collect psychological behavior data. States share this info with third-party vendors, building dossiers on kids from kindergarten onward. Think about that. Surveys like SEL screenings ask children if they are trans or binary, often without parental consent. This is called grooming, plain and simple. Another street slang word for grooming is pimping. Think about that. Teachers' unions. The NEA, American Federation of Teachers, are the enforcement arm. They fund radical curricula, protect predatory teachers. Look at the term called rubber rooms in New York City. And lobby to criminalize homeschooling under the guise of child rights. They're not educators. They're activists with pensions. In fact, they've admitted it for years that their goal has nothing to do with teaching children. Their goal is power. Plain and simple. You don't believe me? Just look at Randy Weingarten. A short little mouthwash that does nothing for the kids. Has nothing to say about them. But she has a lot to say about what we're doing to them. And here's the real goal. The whole thing for public education is to displace the parents. Public school policy increasingly treats parents as obstacles. Courts in blue states have ruled that schools can socially transition a child's gender against parental objections. This is a deliberate severing of the family unit to create loyalty to the state. So, in other words, it takes a village. Yeah, it's Communism 101, man. And last but not least, we get down to the nitty-gritty here. It's psychosurgery and demonic possession. You see, destroying the spirit and the minds of children by instilling that they are born in the wrong bodies and genital mutilation, sex change operation is the only cure for happiness. Nonstop propaganda on how they are the victims of a race-based society or the reason there is racism in the first place. If you're white, you're an oppressor. The outcomes are more than just warping the minds of children, but in cases of some transgenderism, suicide, and murder. By the way, it's been reported that a third of the mass shootings in America are done by transgenders. For a population of less than 5% of the country, that's huge. What do we got to do? Well, first of all, we need to pray for changes and then work for those changes, forcing politicians to make these changes or change out the politicians. It's like dirty diapers. You got to change them for the same reason. Opt-outs. Demand curriculum transparency. Use state sunshine laws to audit lessons. Many districts may hide them under propitiatory claims. Beside the point, it's public. You have a right to know. All right. Options. Classical Christian schools or homeschooling co-ops. These places prioritize phonics, logic, Latin in some cases, and real history, and they are flourishing for a reason. The reason is it's smaller class sizes, they don't put up any crap, and the children get specialized individual teaching if need be. And that's why they're getting a far better education. For many families, one option to a public school is a Christian school, which has a different approach to education. Now, tuition cost is a prime factor in preventing more parents from enrolling their children in a Christian school. There is also the matter of practicality. Parents' work schedules, a lack of transportation, and distances to and from school may pose logical difficulties for families. Even so, there are advantages offered by private Christian schools. See, Christian schools partner with parents of faith by teaching all subjects from a Christian worldview. Christian teachers consider their efforts a divine calling. Classes are smaller in most Christian schools and making students more likely to receive individualized attention from their teachers. Christian schools are inherently safer. Illicit drugs are not as prevalent, and instances of bullying and gang violence are less likely to occur on a Christian school campus. Faith-based schools tend to outperform public schools academically. That's been proven. Also, many Christian schools offer programs in athletics and the arts. The school size allows ample opportunity for involvement. Many faith-based schools offer scholarships that benefit lower-income families. See, parents have much to weigh in the important matter of their children's education. What's taught in the classroom, the level, type of peer pressure, and possible challenges to their children's faith, values, and even gender. All these things are more considerations in the modern public school environment. The following passages may prove helpful in guiding Christian parents. Local action. See, school boards are winnable. Parents in Florida and Texas have banned CRT and DEI books by showing up en masse. The left only wins when conservatives stay home and busy on the couch watching football. If possible, kick the teachers' unions out. How do we do that? Their contract eventually runs out. When that happens, offer returning teachers of merit a raise in pay and better benefits in lieu of a union. You will be surprised. A 10% raise in pay is often cost less than dealing with a union. In short, public education isn't neutral. It's a weaponized system designed to replace your values with its own. Treat it accordingly. This is a spiritual battle for your child's soul. It's time to get up and get involved. Christian parents are adequately informed about and actively involved in their children's education. Know your child's teachers. Know the school's administrators. Know the curricula being taught. You see, knowledge is power, and where your child's education is concerned, there is no bliss in ignorance. Hey, look, you don't want to send little Johnny to a public education system and he comes out being little Joni. You just don't want that to happen. You want your child to grow up, and when he gets his diploma after 12 years in incarceration, he could read, he could write, he could do mathematics, he knows science, he knows accurate history. He may have learned something in the arts. He may play an instrument or something. He may have played football and learned the value of teamwork and discipline. Okay? You need to get up and get involved. Hey, look, man, the public education prison system can be beat. Even though they take our money through taxes, it doesn't mean we have to put our kids in there. So this is Brother Mark saying, hey, look, it's going to be a great weekend. Need you to enjoy it. Have fun. And always look up. He's coming back.